going on, guys? Matt Schaeffer back here with another Musaic audiophile build for you. This one in a brand new Tesla S refresh. So let's check it out. In the new refresh, they do things way different. And basically, there's no way around it. You have to install a battery in here. This is a lithium ion 14 volt. I won't get into the weeds of how everything is integrated here, but this is necessary for integrating into this car to do an audio system. So we basically have a circuit breaker back here and a circuit breaker under the hood, so we can isolate this from the entire system if we had to. You see our RGB controller there up top. That's the on-off switch, and then the XK Chrome controller is on the side there. So that is on an aluminum battery rack. And then pulling this up here to reveal our amplifier rack. So we have 3 Musaic Pro amplifiers. As you can see there, we have a 110 powering the sub. We have a 410, or I'm sorry, this is a 210 here powering the front mid bass. And then we have a 410, which is powering the front mid-range and tweeters active. And then under here, which I can pull, let's see if I can do it with one hand. I can pull this up here, remove this panel. We have our magnets there, basically magnetizing on that insert. And now we have access to the Musaic Pico, which powers the rear speakers. We have our set of new fuses that have been, the voltage has been dropped to about 13-ish volts because the voltage of this car runs at 15.5. So we have to step the voltage down on a lot of the equipment here. And then this is our input for our ground distribution. And then these are the power for all our amplifiers and accessories. Same thing, if I remove this one on this side, we have the Helix DSP Ultra here in the top corner. And then we have an HLA sum here to give us additional inputs into that DSP processor. This is the design here that we came up with. I pulled inspiration from a prototype that I've seen before of a front end of a grill. So it's not necessarily Tesla inspired, even though the design reminds me of a very futuristic prototype, right? And I knew at some point I kind of wanted to use that, and you know, the tech of this car I feel like complements this design aspect of this acrylic insert here. So we have this, which is all etched in, and that's where the light's reflecting on the back. This is cut open to allow the amps to vent, so air can still move through here. This is all lit up. You can't see it here, but this line and the Musaic M all lights up as well. Pretty cool. We have 2 different LED strips, one on the top, one on the bottom, doing different colors. That's how it's giving that variation. Maybe I can overlay a night shot here. But yeah, so that's the amp rack. Again, super clean. The subwoofer is behind this panel right here. And with that subwoofer, it's basically modified into the factory enclosure. We have a 10-inch Focal Utopia M, which again is bolted right here behind the panel, so we don't have to worry about taking up extra space. Putting this panel back in, just slides. You heard it click into place. The magnets hold it in, and the magnets recess into this panel here, so it literally clicks into place. This can then go back in and cover, and you have all your trunk space. You have no idea anything's ever installed. So again, this is the refreshed interior, the brand new design. And they did not make this one easy to work on. So basically, see, it's a lot different. It's different than the older one. A lot of things are similar, but a lot are different. I would say my takeaway from the new design and the new construction from a quality standpoint, quality went down on this car as far as the materials they use, but in a lot of cases, it actually helps us from the sound quality standpoint, because they got rid of a lot of the plastic panels that used to be here and here on the side, and now they're just carpeted molded cardboard. So from a resonance standpoint, you don't have to worry about a lot of these plastic panels buzzing and resonating, where we'd have to treat all those before. So, and the tabs on the back are literally hot glued onto those panels there, which is pretty bizarre. But again, Tesla's trying to, I guess, make the most out of, you know, the money they put into this and turn a profit, and that's what you get as a result of that. But from a sound quality standpoint, it actually helps us a lot. Front stage of this car, we went with the Focal Utopia M. We remade these pillars here. So we have the Utopia 3.5 mid-range, and then you have the front TBM Utopia M Focal tweeter. This is their new Utopia M series, and they're absolutely fantastic. But we decided to make these pillars to get these in a better location for less reflections than we would have up here in the dashboard where the factory speakers are. You have 2 mid-ranges, a center channel, and then you have the factory tweeter here in the pillar, which isn't a bad spot for the tweeter, the factory tweeter, that is. From an integration standpoint, it looks really good. We use matching Alcantara suede, so it blends right in. I love how the new Utopia M is black. That way it blends into the pillars a lot more than the old Utopia B did. From the, I told you back there, we did the Helix DSP Ultra. We integrated the controller up in the headliner, which is pretty cool. Makes it very easy to use because obviously this sucks. So just up here to adjust the bass and the master volume, it's very, very convenient. And again, this was all custom done into the headliner. So again, it still retains a factory appearance. We have the controller for our Escort Max CI 360 radar and laser system right there. And here we built this stealth little pod for the display for the Escort Max CI 360. So this is showing us our radar and laser alerts right here and giving just a very OEM look. And when that's off, it's just completely black. Now, as far as the door speakers, we did the Focal Utopia M 8-inch woofers. I'll show you a picture with the door panel off here. But we fully sound treated the door. We installed black hole tile. We installed hush mat on the inner door skin as well. And of course, Sound Shield acoustical mat on the outside and inside of the door panel itself. Now, as far as integrating into the factory system here, we have 3 different presets. Preset 1 is going to be the factory MCU. So the Tesla radio will operate just like it did from the factory, right? Nothing changes. It's all the same way. You can, you know, have this all the way up if you wanted to. And then from there, you can just use the steering wheel controls and everything is going to function exactly like it did before. All the chimes, the Bluetooth, all that stuff is going to work just fine. Preset number 2 is going to be the HEC BT chip that docks into the DSP Ultra processor, and it's going to be a Bluetooth connection from our phone directly to the DSP. So it's bypassing all the garbage of the MCU. You don't have to worry about summing all the signals together. You're getting a perfect digital signal from the phone directly to the processor. That's going to be your best bet as far as audio quality streaming from a phone. So if you're doing the streaming app from the Tesla or watching Netflix or whatever, you go on preset 1 and you're good to go. Preset number 2, if you're streaming anything from your phone, and you can actually sync your phone to here at the same exact time. And when you do that, you can see all the information come up on the MCU, the screen. So it's going to look like you're still utilizing the Tesla MCU, but in fact, you're streaming the audio directly to the processor, which works out really nicely in that setup. And then preset number 3 is going to be our high-res player. So this is going to be the best way that you're going to get the audio into the system. We like to utilize the Astel and Current SP2000, which at this moment in time, it's their flagship unit. It's a very, very nice handheld digital audio player, and it has some of the best DACs in the world built into the player. So this is really going to give you the separation, the width, the depth that you're just not going to get out of a phone. It's also going to be able to play higher bandwidth music, and that type of music just is not going to be able to be played from an iPhone, right? And we're doing this to utilize the DAC of the player. So we're basically using the line out mode, and it's giving us, 3-volt out fixed directly to our processor. And then this is going to be our volume adjustment when we're using that. So a lot of people always ask about this player and why we use it and why we use the analog output. If we were using the digital out, then we're not using the DAC of the player, and we're just using this as like a fancy USB stick at that point. So doesn't make a whole lot of sense. because when you go analog out, even though the DSP is still converting it to digital back to analog, because your crossovers and everything are utilized inside the DSP, the input is certainly better than it was from the digital side, to where the separation, the width and depth is something that you're getting that you just don't see when you go straight digital into the DSP. We've tried it both ways. Every time it sounded better analog out. That's why we continue to use the analog out. So that explains that. And again, that is our third preset there. So other than that, everything else is factory, right? Another cool thing about when we use the Bluetooth and the analog out is we have a little switch under here, so we can still hit the brake or whatever, and you hear those chimes coming through the factory center channel. That switch activates the factory center channel, which is still connected to the factory radio. So when we're on this, we can still hear signal through the factory center channel. So if we get a Bluetooth phone call, we don't have to switch sources real quick. We can just flip that switch and now utilize that factory center to have a conversation. Or if you're using autopilot, you know, your turn signals, stuff like that, you can hear very easily, right? Even though we're not connected to the factory MCU preset. So it's kind of a little workaround that we'd like to do, and it's super functional and it works great. You don't lose out on anything. The rear speakers in this car, we just left factory because we really don't need to spend money in the back. The back isn't adding quality performance to your soundstage. It's really just making the overall sound of a reflection and making this car feel bigger than it is. And because of that, we're not asking the rears to do anything that's going to really overdrive them or overperform them, which would need us to get into a better set of speakers. So a lot of times the factory rears do just fine, and we put the rest of the money somewhere else into better performance always. Like always, guys, I really appreciate you for watching all these videos. It's been really hard to get videos out constantly just because I do a podcast now, and that takes up a lot of time. We have a lot of great guests on, but if you love audio, definitely hop on the podcast. It's called the Old Fashioned Car Audio Podcast. You can find it on iTunes, Spotify, wherever, but it's definitely a great podcast for an enthusiast or somebody working in the industry. So go ahead and check that out. If you want to message me for a project, here is my email followed by my phone number. These are the two best points of contact for me. Also, make sure to check out our Instagram handles at The Real Matt ES, and then Musaic Design, and then also TikTok at The Real Matt ES. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, go ahead and hit the notification bell. That way you're alerted anytime we drop a new build log. After every big project that we do, we generally post a build log just like this, showing the details of everything and how it was done. We don't post videos on everything that we do, really just the more integrated things that's worthy of showing something that's been done or been created. Lastly, check out our website. It has so much great, useful information, and it has the whole collection of cars that we've done. So anything that you've wondered about what we've done, what make, manufacturer, you can check that out. It's very easy to navigate, and all the YouTube videos are also linked to a lot of those builds. So go ahead and check that out. And like always, guys, I appreciate the support. I appreciate the feedback. And until next time, I'll see you later.